Hello, everyone. It's Sam Roberts here. I'm the creator of Red Scare, well, co-creator with my friend Tom, who is unavailable today. And I'm here to host the episode 6 and episode 7 live chat. We should be having some members of our cast joining us in the near future, but they are running a little late. So I'm going to go ahead and start without them. Um, as always, we have the question and answer app available, so you can ask us questions right in your video window, and we'll be able to answer them live on the air. Well, I will be able to answer them live on the air right now. You can also ask us questions on Facebook, and we'll be checking that as well. So you can ask them there, and we'll try and answer them. Um, in the meantime, I'm just going uh, to start talking about episode 6 and episode 7, I guess. So please be aware that there will be some spoilers coming. Episode 6 was live last week. Episode 7 went live about 35 minutes, 40 minutes ago. So if you have not watched that, you should go check it out. But obviously, you know, those are fun episodes, hopefully for an audience, and definitely as a writer. I you get to, one of the things that was really exciting about Red Scare from a perspective is I'm a TV writer primarily, and so when you're trying to get a foothold in the TV industry, you spend a lot of time writing pilots or spec episodes of existing shows. So like a random, made up in the middle episode of a show, like I wrote an episode of Chuck back in the day, if you remember that, or I wrote a How I Met Your Mother episode once. And so you use those as samples of your work, but mostly you write pilots, and so you write a lot of beginnings, but you don't get to write as many endings. Um, and so one of the things that really drew me to doing a project like Red Scare was getting to write middle episodes, getting to write, and what happens next, and also getting to write, to gear up for a finale, to have a final act where where these characters you spend a lot of time with, things are really getting down to the wire, things are getting really intense, and and also to have characters who the audience has a chance to grow with and who has hopefully gotten attached to. And so I think that pays off in a lot of fun ways in episode 6 and episode 7, where, especially in episode 7, where we have some downtime with Johnny and Judy, um, and yeah. um, Episode 6, we were hoping to get Heather Howe, who I've been talking up every week, who played Vivian, to talk about episode 6, and she might try to be here next week, and so we can wind it back and talk about that then. But Heather, obviously was such a memorable character. Vivian was, and so one of the interesting things about episode 6 was the way we kind of sent her off. And it's something that we've alluded to in other episodes, or in other chats rather, but now I can finally talk about, which was the scene where she and Dino share a cigarette. And that was a really exciting scene for me as a producer and as a writer, but someone who also wasn't directing it and wasn't creating everything on set. Because sorry, because because when we wrote that scene, we wrote it as if it was just a logistical scene. We needed to have Dino and Vivian set up as they were standing guard, so that Vivian could get killed and Dino could end up in the bathroom with his bloody hands. But but then when we actually shot that scene, our cast and our director Lee and our director of photography Patrick, brought so much to that scene and gave, made it a really emotionally resonant scene for Vivian and Dino, who had just suffered this loss and were processing it in different ways, and it ends up being kind of a goodbye to Vivian, who, she's been such a weird character. She's been someone who, I mean, a lot of people have thought was the vampire.
No.
Hey, Eric's here.
Hey.
How's it going?
Yeah, Sam.
Eric is the creator of 10,000 Days, the host of Red Scare, and an excellent writer and director in his own right. So he's going to be joining us for a little bit for this chat, and to talk about episodes 6 and 7, which I guess, Eric, you were saying you just rewatched 7.
Yeah, just rewatched it.
I was in the middle of saying of talking about the scene where Dino and Vivian share a cigarette, and how that's such a powerful, one of those awesome moments that doesn't seem like anything in a script. It was like a little like logistical beat of them being like, oh, I guess I'll stand guard now. But then in the hands of a talented crew and a talented director and a talented cast, suddenly it becomes this like send-off for this character Vivian, which we didn't even really know we needed. And I think it's a moment where we can finally really acknowledge who she is as a character now that her secrets are all out, and like her as a person, as opposed to like think she's a villain or think she's crazy or something like that. And we see her just like as who she is. And that was something that was really cool, that kind of like that surprised me, and that I didn't expect when I was going into the episode, or going into the shoot in general.
Yeah, I like that moment a lot. It was like her veneer came off. She like, she has this bubble that she created. She kind of goes, shh, and it's gone.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like it's pretty much the only scene where we really just see her not acting, and it's just beautifully shot. And I think we would have lost something if we hadn't had that goodbye for her. If she'd just gone from like trying to save Lois to then suddenly being dead. But yeah, I don't know. You just rewatched episode 7. What did you? Anything jump out at you?
Well, first of all, what's wonderful about it is, you've got 3 people,
mm-hmm.
and we know we're 1 or 2 episodes away from the end, and I know everyone's wondering who's the vampire. It's been a wonderful kind of string you've carried along. And of course, now we've got this moment with the 2 of them, and they're wondering, are you the vampire? Are you the vampire? Yet they managed to come together with this wonderful, intimate moment, sharing a bed. And I love that scene, because you're hoping something like it happens, and it does happen, and then he just blows it.
Yeah.
He just screws the whole thing up. And
what I love about that is that he is someone who, because I think I've said this maybe in other episodes or chats, but Johnny was a character that we had struggled with a lot, and we tried to figure out what, a lot of the comedy and the personality from other characters came out very easily. Like we knew Lois was going to be bossy and uptight, and we knew Huey was going to be really nerdy, but also kind of like trying to boss people around as well, and we didn't really know for a while where Johnny's comedy came from, and the idea that he was just like a really earnest guy was a pretty late addition to the script. And I think it's really funny how he's trying so hard to be a good guy, and he's trying to approach Judy on her level and do that, like he's trying to learn from her because he thinks she's really cool, but like he ends up saying all the wrong things.
Like he's reading the book, and he's like, I love this. She's like, great. None of it makes any sense to me at all. So you don't like it? No, I like it. That's why I like it. It's like, he likes it because he has no idea what he's reading, but it's fascinating because maybe he'll learn something. Maybe he'll get a little closer to her.
And I think that there's a sense in which Judy.
Good. Never mind. Done.
There's a sense in which Judy is also kind of like that, because I'm sure she's 16, 17, whatever, and she's reading Howl. She probably a lot of it is going over her head, and if it's not going over her head, it was probably going over her head the first time she read it. But like, she fakes it a little bit. She acts like she's a little smarter and a little more worldly than she is because she really just lives in this suburban town. But so I think there's something that she is learning from Johnny about kind of being emotionally honest and being able to acknowledge that he doesn't know everything and he wants to learn more. And so I think that's like one of the things that it was pretty early on that we had this idea that Johnny would learn how to be kind of like hipper and more accepting and less less square through Judy. But I think one of the things that worked surprisingly well was that Judy ends up learning a lot of things from Johnny.
Well, absolutely, and they come together. Of course, the two things neither of them have any experience in, or the one thing that neither of them have any experience in, of course, is being with someone of the opposite sex, and that's a great moment. They get to share that.
Yeah.
And then, let me tell this person I'll call them back. 1 second. Teddy.
Oh, I'm going to mute you.
I'm going to do that.
Oh, and now I will unmute you. I think, if I can. Hold on. How do I do that? What?
I can fix it myself there.
Oh, there it is. Okay, great.
You did it, and I took it off. So that was one of them. And then, of course, I love the fact that, he's trying to desperately take his foot out of his mouth, and then, of course, they look over at the bloody handprint.
Yeah. I was a sucker. That was actually a really hard scene to score because I'm such a sucker for those moments where, where like something is going on in the background and the audience definitely notices it.
Yeah.
But the characters don't notice it yet, and so they're just like kind of oblivious, and like meanwhile, like there's a bloody handprint. Like we see it the moment we they walk into the room, and so one of the interesting challenges of that moment was with the score was that we were trying to play the emotional, this moment of these two people who are struggling to have a intimacy when they can't necessarily trust each other completely, but also acknowledge that there's like a scary thing going on in the background and that there's this like classic horror movie thing. And so it's like, when does that come in? When does we want the audience to know it before the score knows it and before the characters notice it.
Yeah, you played it perfect. You played it perfectly. We're kind of going, what is that back there? And then all of a sudden the music kicks in and we go, ooh, that's a bloody handprint, I think. And then not too far after that, they realize it.
Yeah.
And what's great about that is then they're looking at each other like, okay, so he's dead. Who killed him? We're the only two people here. Now, definitely one of us is potentially the killer. And she has the greatest line of all time, of course.
Well, this is a drag.
This is a drag. It's like now we're really screwed.
Yeah.
Who's going to grab the stake and kill who first? And now, episode 8, the grand finale. How will this shake out?
And it was also important going into, like, you spend a lot of time in this series. Like, one of the things and this is something I learned from Lost, where like you watched Lost, and one of the reasons that Lost worked really well when it did was that there were all these crazy mysteries going on, but like the characters were not always engaged fully with the mystery. Like they always were doing some other thing, and so like, and that was something that we took to heart in Red Scare, where like some of the characters are definitely looking for clues and trying to figure out who it is, but a lot of them are just trying to protect themselves, or a lot of them are having romantic entanglements with other characters and stuff. But like coming in, and so like you spend a lot of time in the series where the show is not directly being like, we think it's this person, haha, or whatever. And so what was fun about the episode 7 ending was like, finally, it's either him or it's her. You know?
Like, it's done.
A or B. It's one of them. And like, and it was fun to finally set up like a dichotomy where like you have to choose. Like, so, and
you choose. And you got to spend a week now. Our audience has to spend an entire week trying to choose who it is.
And by the way, none of our fans have guessed it yet, I don't think, right?
No one has. No one. I mean, forever everyone thought it was Vivian. They're all like, Vivian, Vivian, Vivian with a big red lips and her pale
lying
complexion.
in the bed in the background like this, you know.
I'm like, that, she was, I mean, she's a great red herring. She's dead. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Good luck, I say. So I keep teasing that out on the Facebook page,
Yeah.
Who you think it is. And now it's like, good luck, guys. Let's see who comes up with the winning answer.
One Twitter fan who thinks it's Lois, because she had cold, because she didn't have bright lips. It was the opposite. It was that she had like cold lips even before she was dead.
Oh, no.
I'm curious if he's watching, if he wants to expand on that theory or explain how it could be Lois. But because I think that part of, and that kind of gets into another interesting thing, which is kind of the rules of vampires, and this is a hint for everyone. I will say that the vampire rules that we've set up in the show are all accurate.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So, in episode 2, Huey lays down a lot of ground rules, and he's like, these are the things we know, these are the things we're not sure about, and I will say that everything he says in that episode is true. Huey's right.
Yeah.
On a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but I think if you go back and watch episode 2 and you go back and watch the entire series, like you'll see that certain characters might be ruled out because of things that Huey says, or certain characters might not be ruled out because of things that Huey says are not necessarily true.
I agree.
Yeah.
And good call them for trying to figure this out. I'm going to play it up all week on our Facebook page and see if I can get people to really put their thinking caps on.
I mean, well, but it's got to be Johnny or Johnny or Judy, right?
Which one of them has given us enough information so that we can make a choice?
Yeah.
Got to rewatch all the episodes, folks. Got to rewatch them 2 and 3 times and look for all the clues.
There are clues.
Absolutely, there.
I'm hopping over to our Facebook page for just a second to see if anyone has asked any questions over there. But people can also feel free. I see that we have a viewer. If that viewer would like to ask questions, I don't know if that's you or not, Eric. But
that viewer can actually jump on the link if you post it, and they can jump on here and be part of the panel.
Yeah.
You can post that link that I use.
Where should I post that? Where did you post that?
But take the link you sent an email to me that I used to get on here, and then you can actually put that on your Facebook page. Just go ahead and just do it as a new message and say, hey, anybody want to jump on the live chat right now as a guest panelist, and they'll pop right on.
I will do that as we speak.
And that way, if somebody pops on, then that takes me to my next meeting, and I screwed off.
Yeah. That's the wrong one.
I could have put a couple phone calls on hold and delayed them in like 30 minutes. This one conference call, I'm like, half an hour. Sam needs me over here. I can make a note here real quick. That's the beauty of having cell phones, right? The computer in your hand. I'm working as we speak.
Yeah. Let's see if this works. Now we'll know the truth about who's really watching.
Or who's willing to jump on. That's what we found out, too.
Yeah.
Who's willing and who's not. All right, let me do this.
Any bold fans willing to chat with us?
Bold fans, let's go.
We're very easygoing people. We don't bite.
Do that too. Let me go here. I'm gonna put that real quick. I'm gonna put that link.
In the meantime, I'll say, by the way, if any of you don't know about the Streamy Awards, the Streamy Awards are coming up in a little over a week. They're going to be on I believe Sunday the 7th, and we have been nominated for a Streamy Award, which is pretty exciting. Our composer Giona Ostinelli, who keeps baiting and switching me with saying he's going to be on the chat, but I think we're really going to get him for sure next week. I think we're actually going to have a lot of cool guests next week. But he was nominated for Best Score, and so we think he's got a pretty good shot at it. And so we're excited to go to the Streamy Awards because we've been nominated for a couple of other awards, but they've been either out of town, or we were out of town, and so so we're going to be actually at the Streamy Awards. My co-creator Tom and I, and you should all watch it and check it out and vote for us or spread the word. But that's pretty exciting because it's always nice to be honored for the work that we did, and I think that there's a really great spread. I mean, it's crazy how star-studded the Streamies is becoming so fast. Do you? Oh, you're still posting.
Yeah, I'm posting it quick.
Because I feel like even like we're up against like Paul Scheer and stuff, and Julia Stiles and obviously the Lizzie Bennett.
I know, that's crazy, right?
Yeah. Even a few years ago, it was like just web people. But yeah, so that's a cool thing. And you guys won a couple Streamy Awards, right?
We were nominated for a couple, did not win. We won an IAW TV award.
Oh, right.
Which was cool, and got a bunch of those nominations too. And listen, getting nominated is what's cool. You just go and you show up and you have fun.
Yeah.
I just posted on our Facebook page too the live link, so hopefully somebody will jump on.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, let me close it down. The episode, by the way, just to comment briefly on your the views. Red Scare's done fantastic. I mean, episode 6 pushed past 100,000 views last night. We've already done over 1,000 views in the last hour. So the show is doing tremendous viewership. I mean, it's really doing well.
People are watching it, and I have a theory also that a lot more people will watch it after episode 8 comes out. When you can watch the entire thing back to back, because I feel like it does work very well if you watch it quickly and you get a sense of what of like things that you might not notice when you wait a week between episodes.
Yeah, when you watch it as one stream, you'll pick up a lot more of the clues.
And yes,
well, I'm telling everybody, watch it from episode 1 through 7 this week, because you will pick up on clues and you'll have ideas.
Yes, that is definitely true. Oh, and that was the other thing I was going to say about the besides Giona. I think with any luck, we'll have our director, Lee Citron, next week, which should be really
fabulous.
To join us for the chat. He can speak to a whole bunch of different a different set of facts about the show, because he he was obviously there on set at times where I wasn't, and was running the set. So that'll be pretty cool.
Well, yeah, that'll bring up a lot of fun questions. You always get a lot of fun questions from the directors on, especially from the folks that love that. How did you do that?
Yeah.
How did you manage that? We don't get too many questions like as writers. How did you write that? Well, I sat here quietly.
And even when you do, it's like, how did you come up with that thing? And it was like, well, I was sitting around and I was stumped, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, that's the thing.
I never know what I'm going to write. It's like I never know what I'm going to write till I sit down and it just starts happening. I walk around my office a lot, walking around, getting general ideas of what's supposed to happen in a scene, and then it just, as you know, it just starts happening.
I feel like most of my best ideas come out of conversations with people, but they're very much one-sided conversations. I'm like, I'm so stumped, and they're like, what are you stumped on? And I'm like, okay, so I have like this and this and this, but I can't figure out how to get from this to this because it needs to be like something kind of in this world, but like not that, and like just the act of talking it out. Suddenly it's like, oh, that was the answer. Like I just figured it out. Never mind. Like, thank you for standing there and being like a wall. It's like playing tennis against a wall.
Conversations with myself frequently. I just have conversations with myself in my office until I have it all sorted out.
My writing partner is my dog. I start talking to him and I figure everything out.
It happens when you're writing by yourself, right? I mean, I'm doing a new one right now, and it's all me. Nobody else to talk to. You want to hear this?
What are you working on these days? Obviously, I'm sure there are a lot of fans who are anxious for 10,000 Days Season 2.
Boy, we're looking forward to that. I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, that's obviously a plan. We'd love to do it. I've got an outline already worked out for the next couple seasons, so So some exciting stuff, sorted out already. It's just putting the money together to do it, right?
Yeah, that's always the hardest part.
Because
I think
Red Scare, the anthology series. I mean, I'd love to see season 2. Coming up.
I had another fun idea because what was it? I rewatched Dazed and Confused recently,
Yeah.
and that movie is so 60s 70s and well, more 70s than 60s, but they had a long conversation about Gilligan's Island. In Dazed and Confused, there's a really good scene where they talk about that, and I was like, oh man, like that would be a great, like what's more 60s TV than Gilligan's Island, and do like the Red Scare take on those kind of archetypes and those kind of characters. It's not the cheapest project.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
There are a million ways to go, man. A million ways to go, and what's great is you can actually use your cast like you've discussed, just like in American Horror Story, and just put a new piece together, and everybody plays a new role, and we love them because we're used to them, and now we get to see them in a new light. Yeah, awesome.
So if anyone's watching and likes my Gilligan's Island idea, I want to hear your fan casting for who of our Red Scare stars should play the various characters.
They'll have lots of ideas.
I think Ellington, who plays Huey, is probably our Gilligan.
Yeah, probably. Vivian is Ginger. There's a lot of ways to go with that. You've got 10. How many characters were in Gilligan's Island?
I think 8. So we might lose a couple. But we got to mix it up we got to mix it up in Red Scare. It can't be. Ivana just says she's watching. Hello, Ivana. You can ask them right in the Facebook. You can ask them right there, and we'll answer them. Or you can click that link that we just posted on the Facebook, and you will join our video chat, and you'll be here, and we'll see your face. Or you can just have your voice. If you're shy, but.
Be bold.
We shouldn't tell people that, and everyone will be chat. But
I was going to tell you, what I'm doing right now is I've got a new spec scripted pilot. It's a new one drama. It lives in the world of sci-fi, and so I'm trying to wrap up a polish. I'm doing on it right now, and I've got a new management team, and they're excited about it. And
awesome.
They give me a few notes, and I'm just kind of trying to render those notes, and then out it goes into the big wide world.
Yeah, that's the best. Is when you finally finish something and you're like, okay, then we can do
that.
Notes. Here it is. Ivana says she's been watching the show every week. Love all the episodes. The intrigue is awesome, and she's trying to figure out who the vampire is.
Pose a guess.
Yeah, you gotta give us a guess. There's no wrong answer. Well, there's lots of wrong answers, but there are no bad guesses. It's a murder mystery.
Oh, guesses are awesome. And the good news is, a week from today, you'll all know.
Yeah, that's true. And I think everyone will be surprised. But also, there's a I can't remember who says it. There's a writing saying where what you want is for everything to be surprising but inevitable. So it's
surprising but inevitable and believable.
And believable. And so I think that we did a good job. This is also and maybe it's not a spoiler, but a clue, which is to say that I think the vampire is very surprising and very inevitable. I think that because we sat down and we thought we wondered to ourselves who would be the coolest vampire, who would be the most interesting vampire. And I think we landed on it. Although obviously everyone could be a good vampire. But
I knew you picked a good vampire.
Yeah. And the vampire is very funny. That's the other thing I'll say. I think it's funny.
We know. We've seen.
Yes.
Sam created. Is Ivana going to join us?
Ivana, are you going to join us?
So if I can read her mind, Ivana. And if she doesn't, this may be a shorter hangout today, which is fine too.
Well, the problem is every time I've done a shorter hangout, literally right after I've signed off,
That's fun.
Someone has then asked us a question, or or otherwise made me regret it. Actually, that reminds me, I have a shout out for someone from 2 weeks ago. Let me pull up. We were talking about the Blob. This other great horror movie trope. One of our other possible Red Scare season 2 is a Blob.
Cool.
Which one of these 10 people is secretly the Blob? And it's like, 9 normal people, and one of them is just like,
oh my
yeah.
Yeah, which one's the Blob? No.
Hang out today, which is fine too.
Sorry.
One's the alien. Which one's the result?
I like the idea of doing an alien for the next one.
Well, that great Twilight Zone, where I forget which one it is, and in the end, of course, the guy realizes everybody in this town is an alien. When the guy at the gas station takes his cap off and he's got a third eye, and it's like I don't remember. But it was like a bizarre Twilight Zone episode where nothing's what it seems, and then by the time it finishes, the guy realizes that he's surrounded by aliens. Everyone's an alien. Don't take that.
I will not do that. By the way, Ivana has another question, or another response, I should say. Her guess is the brunette girl, which I assume means Judy.
Yeah.
So, yes, Judy what?
The snarky girl.
The snarky girl.
Snarky.
She's a beatnik. But I think
this is a drag.
Yeah. I'd be interested in hearing your theories about that. Obviously, she does in episode 6 make an appearance with fangs. She's the only person we've seen with fangs, although that was a dream sequence.
Which was pretty awesome. That was a pretty awesome moment. I love
that when she just throws her to the side. That's one of the funniest parts of the series. And sequences are hard.
Yeah, she's an excellent man.
I was really happy with the way that one turned out.
That's fantastic.
Wait, I was just gonna say something about aliens. There was a show that this is probably after your time, but this was like a formative show for people my age. Was Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was like the Twilight Zone, but for kids. And it was like every week these 6 kids would gather in the woods and throw dust into the campfire and then tell a scary story. And there was one that still sticks with me. This is relevant, where this brother and sister get abducted by aliens, and they're being put through all these tests and everything. And some of the tests the brother is doing really well on, and then some of the tests the brother can't do at all, but the sister is doing really well on. So they finally break out of the alien containment, and they escape, and they get back to their home, at which point the aliens contact them, and they were you fools, you misunderstood. We act like we a long time ago left an alien on your planet, and we knew it was one of you, and we didn't know which one or whatever. And then the brother turns to the left, and the sister has turned into this faceless alien, and rescuing his sister, but actually he was rescuing the alien who they were trying to rescue the whole time. It was really creepy. They're these gray, faceless guys, and
I like that. I like the alien angle. Okay, alien angle. Red Scare is going to become
Red Scare. I mean, a movie that is obviously really formative for Red Scare. That is The Thing, and I love the idea of doing something with an alien imposter who can shapeshift, because then it's not, there's only one vampire, and the vampire can't change his or her form. But a shapeshifting alien, you think you've gotten the shapeshifting alien, but it's someone different every time, and that's sort of fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
So many ways to go. Just need to find a little money to do it.
Yeah. With the Red Scare fans, they can help us kickstart season 2. You'd be shocked by how inexpensive Red Scare was. Not that inexpensive, but it doesn't.
Oh man, money! I can't do 10,000 days that cheap. I can't do it inexpensively. Darn it! Too many visual effects.
Yours is a lot of visual effects. Ours has like four visual effect shots, and most of them are actually like just trick photography. So like, I'm trying to think of an example of one of them. Have you seen any yet? I think all of the visual effect shots are in episode 8. So
Yes, I can think of one.
in episode 8.
Yeah.
Can you think of any? I'm trying to think if there are any others in other episodes. Oh, there's like the gunshot, in episode 5, at the end of episode 5, when Dino shoots Lois. That's a VFX shot.
But that was not a visual effect; it was a special effect. You did a blood squib, right?
No, that's all practical. The blood. I'm talking about when he shoots the gun.
What comes out of the gun?
There's a motion. There's like a burst. Oh, we have another question. I apologize if I pronounced your name wrong to me. Risa or Reza, you can let me know, has a question. She wants to know what gave me the idea for Red Scare. That's a good question. Have I talked to you about this, Eric?
You have. Go ahead, tell her.
I will tell you. So it actually started off as a joke. So I was, it started off as kind of a joke, kind of a serious thing, but I had like wanted to do a web series for a while because I had my first thing that I'd made as a filmmaker was a web series, and then I'd kind of started writing a lot of scripts, and I was anxious to get back on a set and work with a crew and work with the actors and stuff, and so I was trying to think of something small, and I was like, oh my God, what if I do like a thing in a bomb shelter, because that would be like really small and contained. And I was like, and there's like there's a killer or a monster or something. And I was like, what would be hilarious if the monster is a vampire and they're in a bomb shelter? Because if you were anywhere else, you could just go out into the sunlight and like be safe from the vampire. But because you're in a bomb shelter, there's no sunlight, and so the vampire is like as powerful as they would be anywhere. And I was like, and then I thought it was funny to call it Red Scare. Like, the best part is you call it Red Scare, and it's like a pun. And so I would go around telling people this is a joke. And then I I mentioned it to my friend Tom, who co-wrote and co-created the series with me, and he was like, no, that's really great. We should do that. And I was like, what? And he's like, it could be like, like I love Agatha Christie. Like that sounds like a really great series. And he was like, well, let's do it. And I was like, okay. So we just, we started writing it, and it all kind of came together really quickly after that. We made a list of like, what are our favorite 1950s archetypes, and the 10 that we came up with were the 10 that you saw. And so then, then it was just a matter of kind of like mixing and matching character traits to see who, like, is it more fun if there's, there's a, like if the beatnik is a guy or a girl, or if the nerd is a guy or a girl, or if, two people are brother and sister, like who's the best brother and sister, stuff like that. And it all kind of just came together. I hope that answers the question. If not, you can feel free to follow up. In the meantime,
by the way, you've managed to go 47 minutes into your 1 hour.
We started a little late.
You started 40 minutes. You're 40 minutes in. You did good, because I actually have to jump off and go to a conference call.
Okay, well, I will let you go. I'll keep answering questions for a few more minutes, and then I'll go. But thank you for providing backup and for proving that mostly I can just like talk for an hour straight.
Yeah, well, I can do the same. I've been in the same position, and here's the good news. The good news is you got a great show, and there's always stuff to talk about when you got a good show. And I'm extremely proud of what you've accomplished. And repping 10K, Channel 10K, we are thrilled at what you've accomplished so far with 7 episodes. And I think you're gonna end strong.
I think it ends pretty strong.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
You're supposed to find me a gag reel. Do we have a gag reel yet? Because we need to do that gag reel.
You have a gag reel, but the gag reel has some serious spoilers. So we'll be posting that
later.
Yeah, we'll be posting that the week after episode 8, probably, right?
Yeah, or maybe we'll give it 2 weeks. We'll see how long we want to wait, because there are people that are going to catch up, and we don't want to put the spoiler up too soon, because we're going to have people that are going to catch up and watch the whole season. So we'll definitely in the next couple of weeks the gag reel goes up.
The gag reel is really funny.
Actually, the gag reel. I haven't seen it yet, so that'll be fun. So I say, Sam.
Yes.
Well done. And hello to everybody else. And I look forward to next week's hangout, and hopefully we'll have a full boat. Try and get everybody.
I'm going to try and get as many people as I can. I think we'll probably have a few members of the cast. We'll probably have Lee, our director, hopefully Giona, our composer. Ideally, knock on wood, on the, right before he wins a Streamy Award.
Awesome.
That would be pretty cool. Certainly gets honored as a nominee. Anyway, I'll let you go.
All right, listen, great. Have fun with the hangout, and I'll talk to you later.
To a larger audience.
Bye, Sam.
Yep. Thank you, Ivana, by the way, for your support of an Alien series. If you have any other monsters that you think would be fun, I'm all ears, because I think there's a lot of good ones out there. I hopefully stay away from like a werewolf or one of the more played out kind of monsters, because we did that a little bit with vampires. But yeah, if anyone has any more questions, speak now or forever hold your peace, because I'm probably going to sign off in a few minutes if we don't. Let me take one last look at the 10,000 Days page, see if anything's going on over there. Don't see any questions there. Well, I guess that'll be it for today then. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for chatting with us, Risa and Ivana. Hopefully we'll see you next week with a big group of people for the final episode.